Sup everyone, this is Elijah with the Side Hustler Society, and I really struggled on if I was going to put this video on the Side Hustler Society or Financial Anatomy, but I think it ultimately belongs here because of a few reasons that we're going to get into. Now right off the bat, I do want to apologize for the lack of videos on both channels. I've actually been in the process of moving for the past 1 to 2 weeks, and it's not completely finished because I have stuff in storage that I need to get moved, primarily the stuff that I have in my set, the bookcase, the desk, all that good stuff. But videos are coming back soon, and even if I can't get it sorted out within a week, we're going to start making videos in the car because that is where the channel started. Y'all remember back in the Uber lifestyle days, so if we got to go back to this for a while, I got no problem doing that. That's enough housekeeping. Y'all want to know exactly why I bought a new car because that's the title of the video. So let's go ahead and get into it. I want to start off by saying that most people, when they get a new car, it's usually for a variety of reasons, and they have a variety of emotions that's running through their body, depending on those reasons. Some people get a new car because they have to get a new car. Their old one broke down, and they need a way to get from point A to point B, so they're in a position of need. Some people get a new car because they're on an emotional high, and they want a new present to themselves. Some people get a new car because they just feel like it's time for a new one. And honestly, I don't think I really fit in any of those. If anything, I probably fit closer to the last one. But I'm going to tell you right now that overall, getting a new car wasn't an overly emotional experience for me, although I did enjoy it after I did buy it. I got the same car and make that I got before, just the 2024 version, because I really like the gas mileage on this thing. And to be honest, I've always preferred smaller cars you can maneuver between things, and they have kind of like race-like qualities. Not literally like race cars, but smaller cars tend to be more maneuverable and better on gas. And that is going to tie into why I got the car. So this video is going to be separated into 3 sections. First section is why I got the car, which is what y'all want to know, most of y'all. But there's 2 other sections that are going to be a little more emotional to me because I have a history with cars that's very relevant here. The next section after that is going to be my experience buying my previous car, and my experience buying this car, and then my final thoughts. So let's go ahead and get into why I got this new car. So right off the bat, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at notes. My old car was starting to get old. It's almost 10 years old. I bought it in 2015, so it's a Mitsubishi Mirage 2015. And it was a great car for the time. It was a new car at the time. And I'm not going to say I ran it into the ground because that's not completely true. I mean, I probably could have got another year out of it, but it was starting to get to the point to where like stuff was going to keep requiring like to be fixed. And I never liked that feeling when it comes to cars. I would rather just go ahead and get another car because I have to reliably in my head be able to go from point A to point B without thinking about is something going to break down or anything like that, or thinking about I need to keep replacing stuff because that can end up a pretty weird financial quagmire I have no interest in getting involved in. So that's the first reason. The second reason is the situation is very different from the other times I've needed a car. Well, let's start off by analyzing what I just said. I didn't actually need it yet, and that's very pivotal. I mean, the last few times I got a car, which I'll get into in another section, I needed a car. Versus here, Mitsubishi actually sent me a letter basically saying like, hey, we're willing to pay you more for your current Mitsubishi Mirage because of this, and this, and we can offer this and blah, 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 blah. So since they were willing to offer more than the market value for my old car at that time, I thought this might be a chance to just swing by the dealership and see what they have to say. Maybe I'll get a new car, maybe I won't. But since they presented me with the opportunity, I wasn't going to ignore it. Next reason is I've actually been flirting with the idea of getting back into the gig economy, specifically rideshare. Now, I know the delivery boys are like, Elijah, you abandoning delivery? No. I'm still going to keep doing delivery like in my spare time. I love knocking out audiobooks. But I have said this in the past when I was doing the delivery content heavily. I liked rideshare more, okay? I jumped on delivery stuff from a content perspective and even doing it because the opportunity was there. No one was talking about Uber Eats in such detail. So there's a void in the market I felt needed filling. Versus rideshare channels, there was like a dime a dozen. It's pretty much covered. I still spoke about rideshare at some points, but but I do actually like rideshare more. I'm a people person. I love talking to college students and their experiences while I take them from point A to point B. I love the airport trips I used to have with business executives, accountants, lawyers, people on vacation, and we would talk about all kinds of things. And once they realized that I was more than just a Uber driver, I got big tips, and some of them actually became subscribers to the Uber lifestyle at the time, which switched to the app lifestyle, which is now known as the Side Hustler Society. But honestly, I miss that. And this time around, I have so much more to share with people. I mean, before, essentially, all I had was obviously I was an Uber driver, but I had the YouTube channel, the Uber Lifestyle, which if they had an interest in becoming a driver, they could check out and I'd let them know about it. But this time around, it's so much different. That's still valid what I said, but there's more content on this channel, specifically helping people get a trader skill. I have the Side Hustler Society podcast where I interview people about various things in business and also freelancing. I have Financial Anatomy that can teach people how to build their credit, which I'm actually going to get into in a sec, but how to build credit, how to turn their credit around if it's been janky for the past few years, investing. And I'm also a freelance video editor where, provided you can pay me, I can actually take a piece of footage that you have, clean it up, make it look fancy, add B footage, and get it back to you so you can use it for a better media representation of what you want to do with it. That applies to podcasts, weddings, whatever. And to be honest, there's some other stuff that I could get into too, but I don't want to drag this section out. So I have a lot more to share with Rideshare this time around, because people get in the car and 80% of them are going to ask you, so what else do you do other than Uber? Just because they're curious. Well, I got a lot to share with them. And I'm probably going to reach 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year if I really start getting into the rideshare heavily, because, I got some tactics I'm going to be using, like QR codes, but yeah, I'm going to save that for later. Next reason why I got a new car. Now, I don't want y'all to hold me to this because I'm still iffy on this, but I've actually been thinking about doing Turo. So shout out to Yuli from Engineer Your Life. But as some of y'all know, I had her on the podcast, and she's kind of a Turo guru. And she's breaking down how much money you can make and this and that. And if you want to see that podcast episode, you can check the link out in the description or in the card right now. But it really intrigued me because it was very similar to Airbnb, which is something I have going on. I forgot to mention that with the rideshare thing, but if someone's in town for vacation and they're not feeling where they're staying, I could probably talk them into staying at one of my properties, but I digress. But yeah, the way Turo's run is very similar to Airbnb in terms of a platform, so it wouldn't really be a new learning experience. And my older car, if you have over 100,000 miles, then you can't list it on the Turo platform. Now, I say iffy with this because I like to test things out before I go with incorporating, like putting something in the LLC or incorporating into an S corp, because like, what if I don't like it, then I stop, and there's a lot of administration work for nothing, and then I have to dissolve the business. So I like to try it myself personally for maybe the first year. It goes smooth, then I'll go ahead and do that. With Turo, that wouldn't be an option, because if someone gets in a wreck, then essentially you're going to be your personal insurance for the very foreseeable future in terms of rates, and maybe even getting insurance is going to be fucked. Yeah, I don't have that much interest or faith in people to drive my personal car, because if they do wreck it, oh man, that's going to be a problem. Now, versus if I incorporate, then that will require its own commercial insurance, and it wouldn't affect my insurance rates at all. So that would need to be done first, and I don't know how I feel about that. So I just thought I'd mention it. But those are the reasons I got a new car. And you might realize that none of the reasons were emotional, and that's where we're going to get into my experience with the my previous car and this current car, and this is where it's going to get emotional. So my history of cars, I've had 3 cars in my whole lifetime, and I'm 32 years old. And some people might consider that crazy, but I take care of my cars. When something's wrong, I jump on it immediately. Switch the battery out. If spark plugs, like just anything, I get it taken care of. And switching cars like every 1 to 2 years, I'm not one of those people. In fact, I'm someone that typically will buy a car in cash if possible, or if it's finance, I want to pay it off as soon as possible because I'm allergic to car note. Once you have not had a car note for a while and you just start putting that extra money in somewhere more productive, oh man, it just makes such a big difference. And that plays a big role in why I'm kind of choking up here. I apologize. But that kind of plays a big role in my last car. Because the first car I ever got was a Honda Civic 2001. And I bought that when I was a junior in high school. And that was around 2009. And it lasted essentially to 2015. But, stuff started going wrong. Transmission went out. And it was time to get a new car. And at the time, this was back when I was working at Amazon, so I needed a way to get to Amazon. And I actually was also working, it was only for like 2.5 weeks, but I was also working at Walmart too. So I really needed a way to get around. I was having to call my mom to pick me up, and that just wasn't going to work. So what ended up happening was she took me to the dealership, and I just dreaded the whole time because I honestly didn't have the money for a down payment. And as y'all know, if y'all watched my credit video where I went from 535 to over 700 credit, back then it was actually lower. It's like in the 400s because I was a victim of a credit scam. I'm not going to go into that because you can watch that video if you want more information. But yeah, I just dreaded it the whole time. I'm sitting there with the sales representative, and it was going through this and that, and I was just so dreadful. I was still cordial with him, but I think everyone in the room just could tell I didn't want to be there. So he came back with numbers saying that, they can offer me something, which is the Mitsubishi Mirage 2015, but because the credit is this and that, you would need a cosigner. So my mom was willing to co-sign, and I just didn't like the way that felt. And I initially ended up getting it with an unfavorable interest rate. I think it was like 20%. And I was able to drive off in a new car with nothing down. And they did pick up the 2000, the Honda Civic, or what was left of it, because it wasn't mobile at that point. And that was my experience with the 2015 Mitsubishi Mirage. And once I paid that off, which was 5 years later, the term was 72 months. And about a year before I paid it off, I actually just opened the paperwork and saw how much I was really paying. Because, this is the younger me, just getting involved in stuff that I already didn't want to be there. So looking at the paperwork was something I just kind of dreaded doing. Eventually I did it, in my opinion, too late. But I saw how much I ended up paying. I mean, do the math. 20% interest, you're buying a new car. Yeah, I was just so like, wow, this stuff is extortion. But technically it's not, because I agreed to it. And even if I knew when I bought it, it wasn't going to be better any other place in that situation. So I don't regret doing it. It's just I was shocked. So when that was paid off, man, I felt so liberated. And that is pretty much my experience with buying my previous car. As you can tell, it was an emotional experience, but not in a favorable way. So let's change the tone and talk about my experience this time, because it's a much more positive experience. First off, like I said, I went there because they mailed me a letter. Now, I was thinking about getting a new car within the next 4 to 5 months anyway, because of what I told you. But I got the letter, so I thought I'd swing by. In fact, I literally said verbatim when I pulled up, and the sales representative walked up, and I guess he saw me pull up like, no, that one's mine. Like, y'all stay away. He's mine. I saw him first. But I pulled the letter out and said, okay, so I decided to come because I saw this letter that y'all having this event today, and I found it intriguing. So he said, what car would I be interested in? And I told him Mitsubishi Mirage, the 2024 version of what I have. And we test drove a few. There is a more premium version, which is what I have. And then there's the standard version, which is the 2024 version of what I had. And, we did some test drives, and then he just ask the typical questions of, what do you do and all this and etc. And the tone was so different because I was different. See, the sales guy, the first time around when I bought the first Mitsubishi, he was, jovial and friendly and stuff. I just was just energy low because I didn't want to be there. This time I was just indifferent, like, hey, I'm genuinely intrigued on what y'all got. So, this guy is a different guy, just so you know. But he was the same as the other guy, jovial, friendly, joking. And I was joking with him. I mean, I was up there for a while because the process of buying the new car and it's going to take a while. So it's like maybe 2 or 3 hours. And we were joking the whole time. We both like video games. We both like anime. We talked about like various games like Final Fantasy and Red Dead Redemption. I told him about my YouTube channel and he subscribed to it, and specifically this one, the Side Hustler Society. And it was pretty cool, but it was so different from the first time. What was different from this experience also is obviously the good credit. I was walking in there with leverage, which felt so good, and that's something I want for all of you. And we're going to get into that in my final thoughts. But next, with that leverage, even though I had leverage, that doesn't mean that they respect it right away. They want to see you apply it. So essentially, I was looking to trade in my old car because, to be honest, for me to get rid of it would be more effort that I'm willing to put in. I would have to get some stuff fixed up and then officially sell it. Because like I said, it only has maybe a year worth of runtime. And if it's able to get traded in for something decent, then that's my preferable outcome. And these cats walked out after he said his appraiser had drove the car and evaluated. They said, okay, so there's several things that need fixed on it. So we could give you $500 that would go towards a down payment for this new car. And I just looked at him and said, well, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it sounds like there's no value in giving y'all the car at all. We might as well be having a conversation about financing it without the car in the equation. And like I said, I was thinking about doing that in a few months, but that's something I'm probably not going to do today because, like I said, that's in the plan a few months. He said, well, how much would you want for it? I said, give me the numbers without it and give me the numbers with it, but we need to increase that number to at least 2,000 at the very least. He said, okay, let me see what I can do. So he goes back there. He's gone for like 10 or 15 minutes. He comes back. Okay, so we could do this, and we can give you the $2,000 for the car trade-in, which, let's be honest, it's my personal opinion that they just went back there and just talked about something else for 10 minutes and came out like, yeah, he's not going to fall for that. He's just going to get up and leave. Let's actually give him something semi-decent for the trade-in. And they what they were doing. But the point is, I knew that and I had leverage. So they come back and they start talking about the financing and the payments and the fact that because of the 700 credit score, I qualify for 0.99 interest rate, which obviously is good. And it just was a very interesting experience because I'm comparing that to the last time I was there, which was having to deal with the 20% interest rate. And to be honest, this goes into the plan too, because I don't plan on having a car note that long. I still don't like it. I know what you're thinking. What about the interest? I don't care. In 5 months, I plan on paying this off. So anything that this car generates is going to be profit. And once it's paid off, I'll just have another stream of income that will help me bring y'all content, because I can tell some of y'all still want the gig content, but I am still going to be making the content for helping freelancers out and helping them get more clients, because ultimately that's where I want people to go. I want them to have a trader skill that they can leverage so that things will just run smoother in their life financially. So with that being said, let's get into my final thoughts. My final thoughts, I was hesitant to share this because I actually didn't really feel like getting a new car was a big deal emotionally. It was more of a business decision, but I like to share aspects of my life with y'all when there's a teachable moment. And I just shared everything that was a teachable moment. But the power of having leverage and having the freedom to apply that leverage is so powerful, and that's what I want for every one of you. That's why I make these these videos like on Financial Anatomy, how to clean up your credit. Here, how to get a trader skill, how to start your own business so you can ultimately take control back of your life. Because a lot of times we're thrust in these situations where we just don't have any control and we have to go along with the flow. even if that flow isn't friendly in the least. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Even though I took notes, this is more of a freestyle video. But the most important thing to take back is I am back. And like I said, videos will start coming back out, even if I do have to do them in here for a little while until I finish with the moving process. But I'm excited. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next video. Be safe, be profitable, and don't forget to check out the content on the channel if you want to learn more about the gig economy or generating leads for your freelance business. I'll see y'all later.